The Deregulation Act 2015, why am I bringing that up today in 2019? Because it's a hugely important piece of legislation in terms of the fact that what you need to comply with will determine as to whether or not you can serve notice on your tenant, okay? So if we go back here, the reason I've brought this up is because there was a transitional period. The transitional period ended on the 1st of October 2018. One of the biggest changes, or one of the biggest things that occurred from the Deregulation Act, was changes to our Section 21 notice as we know it. We used to have a Section 21.4a and a Section 21.1b. One you served while the tenancy was in fixed term, and one you served when the tenancy was in a rolling contract. What this did was it created a new form, which is now called Form 6A. Form 6A, Section 21 notice, which is a prescribed form. So previously it wasn't prescribed. You could serve Section 21 as long as it was in writing in any format that you wanted. But now it's prescribed, which means you cannot change it. You cannot add to it. You cannot do anything with that document other than fill it in as it is templated. Just bear in mind, guys, that in light of the tenant fee ban, anybody that uses their own Section 21s, when tenant fee ban came into play on the 1st of June 2019, a new Section 21 was created. The old Section 21, Form 6A, is no longer in use. The only change is on the front page, it goes A, B, C, D, E. It now has an F, where it talks about prohibited payments. Because if you are in receipt of a prohibited payment, you cannot use Section 21. So it tells the tenants on there that if your landlord's in receipt of a prohibited payment, this notice is null and void. So make sure you're using the new Section 21. It also brought into effect I don't know why I put this word in here because I can never say it. Prohibitions on service of notice after the local authority had served you with an improvement notice. So what the Deregulation Act stated was, you cannot retaliatory evict a tenant. If a tenant reports maintenance to you and you don't want to do it, you want to kick them out instead. If the council have served you with a notice telling you that you have to carry out works, you can no longer use Section 21 or serve notice on that tenant for up to 6 months. Okay? It also tells you that you have to now, in order to use Section 21, and this is from 2015, nothing's changed, but I thought I'd refresh you. If you have not given to your tenant, prior to the start of tenancy, a copy of the gas certificate, a copy of the EPC with an E rating or above for any tenancies after 2018 April, a how to rent guide, current version, again, there is a new version of the how to rent guide on the government website, based on the tenant fee ban 1st of June. So don't be downloading them, putting them on your desktop and thinking you're all right, you're sending the right one. You're not. And you must provide a copy of the licence if the property is licensable. Again, this is one of the areas where a lot of landlords have failed. On a HMO in particular, if they haven't given the tenant a copy of the licence and you are able to prove all of this, then you will not be able to use Section 21. There was a case recently within the last 12 months where a landlord went to court to obtain possession under Section 21. The start date of the tenancy was something like the 6th. The landlord proved that he gave the gas cert to the tenant on the 13th, and therefore the case was thrown out and Section 21 could not be used. It is vitally important that you are able to prove this. If you're managing and letting the properties yourself, you need documented evidence to be able to produce in court. You must also ensure that you are giving the tenants a copy of the gas certificate within 28 days of the renewal of the certificate. Now, when I say tenants, if you have one tenant, you give one copy of the gas certificate. If you have 2 tenants, you give 2 copies. If you have 10 tenants, you have to give 10 copies, because each one of your tenants is entitled to a copy of the gas safety certificate. Now, the obvious way to do this is through email because there's less cost and so forth. Just email a copy to all of your tenants. But it is vitally important if you are looking to ever serve notice on your tenants. Other requirements that fall outside of the prior to tenancy are you must have registered your tenant's deposit within 30 days of receipt. So for anybody that deals with student lets and they take deposits way before the tenancy starts, you must protect the deposit within 30 days of receipt, not 30 days of start of tenancy. And you must also provide the prescribed information to the tenants and be able to prove that you have within 30 days of the start of tenancy. All makes sense, guys? So out of the Deregulation Act, what I want you to take away from today is that Form 6A, the new version, is now for every single assured short-hold tenancy, regardless of the start date, and that there is a new notice as of the 1st of June and a new how to rent guide. Now, as belt and braces, I recommend that when you renew a tenancy, you send them the new how to rent guide or the current version of the how to rent guide. There's no case law to say that you necessarily have to do that, but I don't want you to be the case law that says you should have done that because it's a new tenancy. So it's wise to just reissue again, and it's something that we do on renewal of tenancies, reissue all of the documents that are required to ensure that we protect you. Any questions?
No, you just answered mine.
Yes, my dear.
Do you have to give, if you have multiple tenants, you have to give new how to rent guides to each of them, then, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because I might be moving in with somebody, but I might not necessarily like them and they might not share it with me. So yeah, it has to be to all of the tenants. I mean, in reality, you know, you might just get all of the, if a couple is renting from you, here's all of your documents, both sign here to say that you've had them, and if you've got your signature, you've got your proof. But the key fact here is proof. And where I would say you need proof that you've given the gas certificate to all tenants because there's been a recent case. And with everything in our country, everything is created by case law. And that's why at the moment we're kind of a little bit up in the air because there's so many laws that have changed. There's no case law for anybody to actually know what will happen.
Are you saying if it's a married couple, you've got to get both of them to...
Yes, absolutely. I know, it's a minefield.